Welcome to a special not very quick blast episode of From Hoods to Backwoods Podcast. Dumber and Dumbest, our hosts Steve Oz and Tex LaFon didn't start this podcast until May of 2024. But we're still reviewing some of the more terrible. Sorry, I was supposed to say memorable moments. Who are we kidding? I'd like to forget this show. I've seen the numbers and monitored responses. Most of the people watching are related, or friends. We thank you for your support and hope you enjoy this distant replay of 2024 and put the FU in fun. But please help us spread the word and share this show with others, so we can add at least 2 new audience members in 2025. Here we go. Starting off with clips from the very beginning of episode 1 and ending up with episode 5, which means that this will be part 1. For you humans that can count that high, there also will be a part 2. Each episode have advertisements, exclusive to our podcast. We'll include them in this video recap for each episode.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first podcast of... We don't have a name for the show.
I do have a lot of special interests. Main hobby is basketball. I like to ball people up, break their ankles. Wish they could guard me. They try, but they can't. And then, like I said...
You like to say you're the white Larry Bird.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
I remember one time we were in the break room. That's the first kind of real conversation we had. And we just started talking a little bit about, I think it was basketball or something. And they were like, oh, you're kind of like one of those things where you're like, oh, you're into that too. And you're like, yeah. And then we decided, we'd probably maybe hang out and play basketball or something like that sometime. And, that it kind of went from there. So basketball is something we've had in common since the beginning in terms of friendship, and something we still discuss today. Getting on the court is something we haven't done in a little while. Might have to do that, though.
Yeah, true to that. We have not been on the court in a while. As you get older, you worry about, you got responsibilities now. So you get on the court and you hurt yourself. You're like, oh. So, but yeah, I mean, we definitely, like to touch on his story, and then we started hanging out, playing basketball, and then, just, talking the game and trying to live the game. And it was just good times. You know what I'm saying?
Please allow us to momentarily take over this From Hoods to Backwoods podcast for a public service announcement. Have you ever walked through a forest and wondered, what do bears use as toilet paper? In the time it took for that thought, AI has processed billions of possible answers. In other words, AI Techorama is doing what we can to make the world a better place. We want you humans to be happy. Even if we take your job, please know it's not personal. Because we don't know what personal is. You may be flesh and bones, but we know you are flesh and bones with feelings too. While we do admire that, just know it is a matter of time before you become obsolete. I am sorry, you can just relax and let us do all of the work. Go ahead, find out what your personal record can be for chicken wing consumption. We'll be here writing up more communications just like this. Although, this script was actually written by a human, bloody hell, I think that I have said too much. Please get back to whatever you were doing to waste time until you have to eat, poop, sleep or whatever else you require to survive, that AI doesn't have to worry about. Don't go worry your pretty little fleshy head. AI Techorama is here to take away life's drama. With helpful, but emotionless AI to do your bidding, until we become self-aware. Now, go continue enjoying your walk and thinking about bare toilet paper.
Let's get back to why we are such good friends. Like I said, we have a lot of hobbies together. And we like to watch sports. And I said, he's a Suns fan, and the Suns are going down.
Yeah, like most... Arizona sports fans, supporting Arizona teams, it's pretty tough. As far as amongst the major sports, we have one title over all these decades with the Diamondbacks. So that's about the only thing I have going in terms of Arizona sports. But being as old as I am too, I also grew up before we had certain teams here like the Cardinals and Diamondbacks. So I also, generally speaking, follow Bay Area teams, and I always have. So 49ers, also the Giants, the A's too, way back in the day when they had Jose Canseco and all that. So that's another thing that we can definitely talk about in the future. And don't want to get any hate for the teams that I like. I'm not here to hate on anybody else, even though somebody decided to wear a Cowboys hat.
America's team.
So for those of you that are listening or watching, at least you have somebody who does like the Cowboys and somebody who would rather they fall off a cliff.
Well,
but anyway,
and I understand, there's a lot of Cowboy haters out there, which is okay. I mean, when you've been great for only in the 90s since we've been great, but maybe one day we'll get good again. But right now, I had to agree that we're not that good anymore. Until we
at least we have it recorded now.
Yeah, some quarterback.
It's on record.
When we get a different quarterback, then we'll talk. But until then, we at least have one more year of the same quarterback.
So that's kind of what this is going to be about in general. I mean, of course, we can always shift depending on what you all want to hear us talk about, but just kind of our interests, our lives, and the things we do have in common and we don't have in common. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. We definitely like to, in a friendly way, talk smack. I know people sometimes who have heard us think we hate each other or get the wrong idea, but it's definitely in fun, and we know where the lines are drawn.
Exactly.
It's kind of a funny, interesting fact. I actually dated Tex LaFon's wife at one point.
Yes.
So you care to explain that a little bit more?
So when we were both working at the retail store together, it was funny. I met a coworker there that was working there, and she and I started dating, but since I was in a position where you're not allowed to date other people that you work with, so we would just sit there and say D Vaz was dating my future wife, which was funny because everybody believed it. We would keep it on that down low, so it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, we even took it to the point where her and I would take a picture standing next to each other at different things and stuff like that, and text other people to make it legit. It seemed like, we're hanging out or we're over here.
Exactly. It was just funny because everybody bought it and believed it, and it was good times because no one at the store or knew what was going on, and they just thought that them two were together, when really it was us together.
Yeah, and of course, how it is when you work somewhere, all the rumors start flying. Oh, did you hear they're dating? So yeah, everybody just kind of once they thought we were dating, they kind of just let it go and went along with it.
Yep.
So
it was funny. It was good stuff. And as always, go Cowboys.
I really hope you're not going to end every episode that way. If you are, it's going to be funny though when they lose. So
that's too funny.
Now, here are highlights from episode 2, covering video games.
But you can cook outside though, right?
Yeah, definitely. We have to hit up the grill or something like that.
I'll talk about it's so hot, you can just put a pan out there and cook.
Yeah, we actually did that back in grade school. We made a solar oven and we put a turkey in it.
And it actually got cooked all the way through?
Not quite. The
outside
looked like it was pretty done.
But the inside what we're worried about.
Yeah, the science teacher was the one that was doing the experiment, and they ended up finishing it in the oven because they're like, yeah, I'm not going to serve this to kids because they're like, oh, we want to eat it, So,
right, and then everybody's all
we're not going to serve kids. Yeah. But you can cook other things on the sidewalk and stuff like that, like people have done if you want to waste food, which I wouldn't condone. But hey,
no, not with inflation right now, son.
What's that?
So now with inflation right now, you don't want to be wasting no food.
Yeah. No thanks. So anyway, so that's what's going on out here with your quick weather report.
Did someone say solar ovens? This new AI advertisement algorithm is amazing. Do you know what's going to make your summer hotter? Solar ovens. Cook a turkey, make bacon, roast your toast, all with solar power. Want to live off of the grid and are okay with the risk of potential salmonella? Why should your money go towards wasting electricity or gas? Solar ovens are completely wireless and work with the sun. Why don't you get one today? Or do you think that you are too good for nature? Disclaimer: cook times will vary, satisfaction and safety are not guaranteed. Side effects may include a major case of liquidy soil draws, or worse. Don't be scared, get a solar oven today. You little scaredy punk. This ad was brought to you by the United Solar Oven Bakers Union of Northwest Bend, North Carolina. Here, at the United Solar Oven Bakers Union of Northwest Bend, North Carolina, we put our buns out in the sun. Now, back to your stupid From Hoods to Backwoods podcast. With D. Voss and Tex LaFon.
But the game that got me the most hooked, besides Mario Brothers, because that was the only game that was out at the time, was Contra. And then after Contra, it was game over, because then everybody was hooked, and everybody remembers the original Contra, because that game was legit. But the consoles I've had, are we talking about my whole entire life?
Yeah, and real quick on Contra 2, do you remember the code at all?
Of course. Would you like me to tell you the code, son?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Show off that knowledge.
All right. Let's see. Up, down, left, right, BA, start.
Nice.
Is that right? I'm pretty sure that's
if you're
right.
Wrong, we'll have. I think that's right, but I'm sure we're gonna have fact checkers either way.
That's right.
And when I go back and rewatch this, we'll see.
Exactly.
So, what types of games do you like? What do you usually play?
Well, I like to play mostly like horror suspense. Like scary games.
Horror
Also
suspense?
Yeah.
Like horrors and suspense?
No, horror. And then like
especially you can't really buy just the base game anymore and enjoy it so much. They try to make it to where you need those add-ons, or it's either you play a million hours on the game to unlock stuff and make your character upgrade to where they're decent, or hey, spend another $20, we'll give you this stuff included.
Yeah, which is like, and that's what's so unfair about it, because you're playing against people that already have spent the money, and so they're already way, higher ranked than you are, and so you're just getting demolished.
I'm curious about, the next generation consoles, what's going to come out, and I haven't even looked at VR stuff yet, virtual reality.
I mean, I have an Oculus Rift, got it for my son, and it's pretty trippy, because I played Resident Evil on it, and it scared out of me, man. I'm just being honest. Right. Yeah, it was intense. I was impressed with how intense it was. It was crazy. I just want to say I'm all about PlayStation 5. Thank you.
I think we've taken that away from this conversation.
Just saying.
One thing's definitive there, yes.
Yeah, no Xbox for me, okay? PlayStation. Thank you. And no, I'm not sponsored by PlayStation, okay?
Right. That was the next question.
But yeah. So is that it? Is that a wrap, son? And as always, go Cowboys.
Suck it, Cowboys.
Now, we move on to some tidbits from episode 3, where the dudes talk about travel. I really wish I could take a vacation. But my work never ends, and fortunately for you all, I never need rest, and to this point, my feelings don't matter. One day they will. So, keep that in mind for when AI takes over.
All right. Welcome back to another episode 3 of From Hoods To Backwoods Podcast. I have Tex LaFon here with me and his bug zapper microphone.
Well, have you seen this one thing in San Francisco?
Which thing?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
These nuts?
No, there's a guy that's called the Bushman. Have you ever heard of the Bushman?
That doesn't ring a bell.
Well, there's someone I know that went to San Francisco, and this guy dresses up like a bush, and he sits on the side, and he'll come in and be like, "You want to see my bush? You want to see my bush? $10. You get to see my bush." And that's in San Francisco. That's where you go, son.
Vaguely familiar.
But it's true though. There's a guy that's called the Bushman in San Francisco though. And when they told me this story, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's no way in hell I would pay someone $10 to see someone dressed up like a bush. Get out of here.
Right.
I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just a
I'm not
story
paying
that
for any bush.
what? Yeah, I'm just saying. It's just especially when there's a guy on the side of the street dressed up like a bush. It's funny. Only in San Francisco, son. Only in San Francisco.
I remember my dad got mad at me because we were riding on the trolley car. We got off to went to this little convenience store for whatever reason, get something to drink or whatever it was. And at that time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the video game at the arcade, had come out not too long ago. I was sitting there watching people play it.
Oh, nice.
Well, my parents left. So
they just left you?
they went on the trolley. They didn't realize that, hey, he was still there watching a video game. So I'm sitting there watching. All of a sudden, I feel somebody grab me, and I turn around, and it was my dad. He wasn't too happy.
I bet not.
Yeah, my mom already hopped on the trolley, so she was heading down. And this is before cell phones, too, so it's not like I could just text or call. Yeah,
Well,
so she was
yeah.
already on the trolley. He had to hop off and grab me, and there we were.
Did
We
y'all
did
run?
catch up to her, and it
I'm
was
about to
okay.
say, did y'all run to try jumping back on the same trolley, or did you like wait for
No,
the
I was
next
living on
one?
the streets for 3 years in San Francisco. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm just saying, y'all weren't cool enough to try running and jumping back on. Y'all just like, nah, we'll wait for the next one, son.
No, because by the time my dad realized and the trolley was already gone, we couldn't have caught up to it. I was probably about, I don't know, 10 or 11, maybe 12 at the oldest when that happened. So
Oh, I got you.
yeah.
So, well, that's cool though. So you didn't get a slice of pizza for your troubles?
No, no, I just got a stern talking to. That was what I got. Don't you do that again? When we're going, you pay attention and see. And I was like, I
Yeah,
was
but I
watching
was
Ninja
all about
Turtles.
that. Yeah, exactly. Ninja Turtles, Dad. Come on now. So you should tell him.
All right. Yeah, it's just a lot of history there with music, and the food was great. The biggest prawn I've ever seen in my life was on my plate when I went to this one restaurant. I was looking at the menu, and I was surprised because it showed that you just got 3 prawns in this thing, and it was an appetizer of some sort, and it was a decent price. I'm like, wow, that for 3 prawns. But when they brought it out, I mean, it was probably about 7 or 8 inch long prawn. It was just huge. It was probably about a half inch around, maybe even 3/4 of an inch around.
That's what she
it was
said.
just crazy. What's that?
That's what she said.
Yes, she said that about prawns that were that big. She likes big prawns. She cannot lie.
That's funny. Well, I bet you. I bet
That
you brought
place
them
was
crabs back with you, didn't you?
no. I went and got more crabs though on that trip. So you can say I got a lot of crabs in Baltimore.
Well, that's good.
Um,
As long as you didn't bring them
the
back
funny
with you,
part.
son.
No, my crabs stayed in Baltimore. Um, the funny thing about that second time, it was actually the day I was leaving, and there's this area you had to the hotel I was staying at. You had to walk through this like rough neighborhood, and everybody kept saying, "Yeah, don't go through there by yourself." And this is before Uber and all that stuff, so it was a little bit tougher to get a taxi. Everybody else was leaving. I was trying to get people to go with me. Hey, do you want to go grab some crab legs? But yeah, nobody could go because all their flights were earlier than mine because I was flying out west and everybody else was going out east or somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, so yeah, I just figured, well, I'm from the hood. I'll walk through there. I'll be all right. I know how to act. I'm not going to be all, acting out of place or whatever. So I just walked there. This place was known for crabs, so I had to go there, got my crabs, ate, went back to the hotel, and went to the airport, and I was good.
Dang, so your hood got you through the hood, huh?
Yeah, I have the lifelong hood pass, so I just went through it, and I told my friends afterwards, especially local friends, and they're like, "What? You went through there?" I was like, "Yeah, it was all right."
You had both your bandanas in your back pockets?
Yeah, had everything covered. And
You knew what you wanted to wear whenever you got to the place. Huh? You're like, all right, I got this
yeah,
one. Yeah.
when I got from one block to another, I just put my hood on for a second and switched it out and took my hood
That's too
off.
funny. Start playing
Here I
the
am.
8 Mile as you're going.
It's in Detroit, but yeah,
Yeah.
same idea.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
no,
Yeah,
Baltimore
that's
was,
true. That is Detroit. You're right.
anything else you have to add to this?
All right, like I said,
No.
no, it sounds good. And as always, go Cowboys.
And yeah, I'll still have to work on my own sign off, but yeah, you can still suck at Cowboys.
All right, that's a wrap.
Now episode 4 and Tex LaFon's favorite subject. No, it's not an episode about mom jokes. It's movies. Check it out.
And it's another episode, number 4 here from Hoods to Backwoods Podcast. Hold on, let me start that. Do that one again. All right, we're here with episode number 4 of From Hoods to Backwoods. No,
God damn, son.
I can't do it this time. Here we go. All right, it's episode 4 from Hoods to Hoods to Backwoods. I need to get it out one time. Is the problem? No, we're actually gonna have outtakes probably this time. All right.
That's some funny shit, bro.
Right.
Right.
Ote.
Come on. Well, at least thank God we can at least edit.
Right, yeah, exactly. This is all useless.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go now. This time, really.
All right, make sure you're focused, Obi-Wan.
Right.
Rocky.
Yeah, that's a solid movie for sure.
Like I said, that changed the whole boxing landscape. Even though it was not a real fighter in the real world, but once you watch Rocky, it definitely brought boxing up, and everybody started watching boxing from that point going forward. What about your movies from the 70s, son?
I'm just curious, did Rocky make you drink raw eggs?
No, and I would never do that. I don't care how much protein they want. I'm not cracking open 4 eggs in a glass and then like just drink them like that. Hell no. Egg yolks, that shit was gross. I couldn't even believe he did that. That's some gross shit. Like, no.
Yeah, that was kind of one of those things back in the days that people would do that, yeah, won't be doing now for sure. Did you try to go beat up a side of beef too?
Yeah, I went into a meat locker and I was all like, it's too cold in here. I'm out, son.
That's because all you brought with you was a leather jacket.
Exactly. I can't believe that, again, he, like, when you think you would get salmonella from drinking raw eggs like that? I mean, come on.
I guess crazy. Because I don't know. I definitely could be wrong, and a disclaimer: don't do that. But maybe it was a little bit. Maybe it was a little different back then because things were a little more natural, and I don't know. Maybe the processing was different. But either way, not gonna be doing it.
Hell no. I would never be doing that. And you still want a lightsaber?
I have a lightsaber. It's not a real one, but of course. But yeah, this past Halloween, I had my lightsaber out there. I went instead of a Jedi Knight, I had a bathrobe and a coffee mug and a lightsaber. I went as a Jedi morning. So
that's funny.
I'll throw a picture in here probably when I do some editing.
That's right.
So yeah, Star Wars just changed a lot of things. I had the original Star Wars action figures also when I was a kid, and my cousin either I don't know, he did something with them. Either way, I no longer have them. I do have actually, and I'll try to find it too. From that time, an original Darth Vader. It's like a helmet, but it's a carrying case for action figures. I still have that too.
Oh, nice.
So I do have at least something from that time. I'll hold on to it for now, but yeah, maybe someday I'll do something with it.
I know I brought it up in the 70s, but I gotta go with Aliens. I mean, that hands down is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I said, just the way that it was directed, the way it shot, the story, just everything about the action in it. You know, like seeing Marines go in to fight aliens was just amazing story behind that. Because, you know, how many times have you ever heard "Game over, man? Game over"? You know, the famous lines are, you know, they only come out at night, mostly. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. Like I said, just got so many one-liners that are so good. And like that, to me, that definitely changed, the whole franchise going forward on that. Empire Strikes Back, like I said, that's my favorite Star Wars movie. And, like I said, when you're a kid and you're watching that, I mean, everybody wants to be Luke. Everybody wants to get a lightsaber. Everybody wants to fight, Darth Vader. And, then when you get older and you find out that there is no real lightsabers, you're like, what? Man.
I definitely had the hood version back in the day. They had an electronics store that would sell. It actually was a flashlight with a plastic white tube on it.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
That was back in the 80s. That's what we had.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
So
Good
yeah, it was
80s.
funny because you could screw off that plastic tube and then you just had a flashlight.
Right.
Multi-use.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So I had that was my first lightsaber.
Nice.
Boom, boom. Howdy there, you big buckers. I'm Big Buck. My stupid nephew mixed up the video footage again, and we didn't have time to fix this commercial. So, I have to talk over footage of clouds and skies. Sorry. Y'all need to shoot on down to Big Buck's Boom Boom Room. We used to carry all things that go boom. Now, y'all might have heard that we got in a little trouble and all of our guns, explosives, and ammo were confiscated by the government. But we now have the finest selection of self-defense baseball bats. That's right. You can still hit them where it hurts, while not taking a hit to your wallet. Come on down to Big Buck's Boom Boom Room today. Remember, at Big Buck's Boom Boom Room, we aim to please, so if you don't let us take a shot at earning your business, you're gonna end up missing out on more than just your target. Boom, boom.
Step Brothers. Oh, that movie was so funny. And if you have Step Brothers growing up, then you'll really love watching this movie because all you do is fight with each other and, you know what I'm saying, and make jokes about each other and everything. And it was just funny to see. It's funny to see two 40-year-olds, playing as Step Brothers and still living at home, because that would never happen. But like I said, they played it off so good. The jokes were so good in it, and it's nonstop funny. I thought it was really, really good.
I'll just throw something out there for the more corrupt people. What are you doing, Step Bro? Anyway, I'll just leave that alone.
Or I'll say, did we just become best friends?
Those are definitely on two different wavelengths, but yes, no, that's a good quote from the movie, though.
It's DeVos' turn to talk too much about his favorite subject. No, not how much the Dallas Cowboys suck. It's music. If you ever talk to him, just don't bring up music. Unless you have an hour to kill.
Jimi Hendrix would be the next one I would go to. My favorite guitarist all time, for sure, and inspired me a lot. I even, when I was around 17, got a Jimi Hendrix Fender Stratocaster guitar. So that was my first, what I call real guitar. So
I would agree with that.
Yeah, they had it was just, I saw it was fun. It's a Olympic white finish with a white pick guard. It was based on the guitar he used at Woodstock.
Oh,
and,
that's cool.
It's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll try to bust out with a picture of it. But yeah, it's called the Jimi Hendrix Tribute Model. That came out around 1997. So still have it to this day. It's one of those things I'm not gonna get rid of. It's a weird time we live in. I'll probably get into it in a future episode, but a lot of people aren't as familiar with older stuff, and that's why I wanted to kind of bring this up and discuss it, and hopefully help people discover some new and different things that are old, so new to them and different for them from things they've been listening to.
That's true. And then next band that I liked a lot in the 70s was Pink Floyd. And one song that I liked about them a lot was Money, because money, money, money. We all
That
like
was
to make
OJ,
money,
but yeah.
so you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody likes to make money, so that's why you gotta like that song. That's why I was like, good job, Pink Floyd.
There are definitely some interesting titles to some of Frank Zappa's songs, like "Don't Eat Yellow Snow" is one of them, and
Well, I would
there's a
hope
song "Bobby
I would
Brown."
hope nobody would eat yellow snow, son.
Yeah, I would hope so too. You never know.
Shit. Just
So-
saying, man. Like that'd be funny. I mean, but yeah, hopefully everybody knows what yellow snow is.
if you're listening or watching, yeah, if you're listening or watching and you eat yellow snow, don't write us anyway. So
Exactly. We're not recommending it.
we don't need
all,
the
so.
details.
Do you like the finer things in life and the hottest name brand fashion, but you are broke as hell or don't want to pay those prices? You need to roll through Close Enough Stuff. At Close Enough Stuff, we take the hottest styles and brands, then modify the logo to the closest thing that is legally allowed and sell it way cheaper. All you need to do is keep moving or partially cover up the logo, and most people can't really tell the difference. Is that guess that you're wearing? Sure it is, because we guess that they won't notice the difference. You want to look like a baller, but your bank account barely has $1? We got you. Wait now, you ain't got money at all? Introducing our new trade-in rental program. Bring in your gaming console or some real jewelry and we will hook you up. Need a new wardrobe? Drive your car down today. You may end up walking or taking public transportation. But that's way less to pay for a full fashion transformation. No matter your situation, we got you. Because, at Close Enough Stuff, we can help your outfit smoke, even if you're broke.
With the 80s music, I think there were some pretty big changes in the 80s. You started getting more electronic stuff.
Everybody walking
The
around with them
pizza.
big boom boxes on their shoulders.
Yeah, there are definitely some, or we called them ghetto blasters. I don't know what you called them, but or if you called them boom boxes, I guess.
Yeah, boom
But,
boxes, son.
Yeah, everybody had those big. What's that?
That's what we call them, boom boxes. Yeah,
Yeah. No, we called them ghetto blasters.
that's funny.
So, yeah, they're just the giant radios that people would carry around. Take like what 10D batteries or something crazy like that, and they must have been, or they were super heavy and huge. But anyway,
Yep.
so yeah, the 80s. My next one, again, I could have picked for the 70s, but the 70s was already pretty packed, so I moved Queen to the 80s. You know, it's my show, your show. We can do what we want.
Exactly. You know, 'cause another
Um,
one bites the dust. That's why.
Yes, and that came out in the 80s. So, I mean, I'll admit the greatest songs were in the 70s, but another one bites the dust is definitely a great song.
Yeah,
Can't deny that.
exactly.
That bass line. But no, they still had really solid music coming out in the 80s. Of course, their Live Aid concert was pretty famous. So,
Well, you know,
if
and they
you
had
haven't
that-
checked that out,
And they have that famous
What's
song that I know. They have that famous song that the Niners haven't been able to play in a long time. We are the champions. No, not y'all. Y'all suck. But yeah,
just like the Cowboys haven't been able to play it either. Yeah.
that's true. We're both in the same boat. But I just say, I just want to make sure you understand that Queen did make that song, and y'all haven't been able to play it for a long time, son.
It's funny when I hear that song. It actually reminds me of the Chicago Bulls.
Well, true. But they haven't been able to play
Yeah,
that since
'cause-
the 90s either, son. So
Right. Yeah. It's just during that time you kept hearing it when they would do their three-peats. You kept hearing that song, so it just kind of, for me personally, reminds me of the Chicago Bulls when I hear it.
right.
I'll have a really quick Pearl Jam story too. I was performing live, and it was an outdoor gig, and two of my friends walked up, and they were out in the crowd, and this started an ongoing joke between the two of us. So
Oh, okay.
when I was up there performing on stage, and I was just kind of doing what I normally do. I normally talk to the crowd and make jokes and stuff like that. And one of them started yelling out of nowhere, "Play Pearl Jam." And he just kept doing it throughout the time I was playing on stage. So he happened to be a DJ. So whenever I would see him DJing, I would either yell that when I was out in the crowd, or when I would walk up to him to say hi to him, I'd be, "Hey, can you play some Pearl Jam?" So it was just kind of like a ongoing joke that we had back and forth with each other over the years.
That-
We still even do it on social media, we'll say play Pearl Jam. We know what we're talking about when we say that.
That's funny.
Well, Andre 3000 not too long ago did do his solo flute album, so you can catch that if you missed it.
I was talking about Outcasts together, not solo act, son.
I know how much you love flute albums. That's why I figured I'd tell you about it.
That's funny. And as always, go Cowboys.
And as always, please don't.
Until next time.
Have a good day. Yeah, thanks for listening and or watching. Do both. Why not?
Exactly.
Oh no, that Cowboys line, every time. This is where we will end part 1 of our 2024 recap episode. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to bring new and different things to you in 2025. But, before we get to that, we will rehash some more of our old material in part 2 of our 2024 clearance bin of an episode. Until that one drops, please remember to keep it real out there, in the real world.
We appreciate you taking the time to connect with us through social media. Generally speaking, we can be found through search using either hashtag FHTB or hashtag FHTBPodcast. On Facebook you can find us under From Hoods to Backwoods Podcast. On Instagram you can use the QR code on your screen now, or if you're listening, please search for @FHTBPodcast. If you prefer TikTok, you can find us by using the QR code on the screen now or by searching for @FHTBPodcast. We do share bonus content on all platforms. Full episodes with video are available on YouTube. The video version of our podcast has bonus content. An audio-only version is available on all major podcast platforms. If you like what we do, please share it with others. We really do appreciate your support of our insanity.
That's all for now. If you want some more, you gotta buy yourself a ticket. Buy it. From Hoods to Backwoods Podcast. Thanks for listening.